How do you feel about the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef?
Man, I am so glad you asked me about this.
What if, out of nowhere, Drake didn't make you think about platinum albums or sold-out arenas, but non-stop legal showdowns and controversial petitions? Hard to imagine, right? Yet that's exactly the whirlwind we're caught in. A few months ago, fans buzzed about new Drake singles and a massive tour. Today, everyone's chattering about lawsuits, shocking allegations, and the fallout of a notorious track called Not Like Us. The stakes are enormous, and every passing moment feels more explosive than the last. You might be wondering, how did we go from celebrating Drake's chart toppers to dissecting the details of his courtroom battles? The shift happened almost overnight. Even if you only casually follow music news, you've probably heard the rumblings. Some say Drake's painting himself as a victim. Others accuse him of rewriting history to dodge a humiliating defeat against other rap heavyweights. But here's the wildest part. The more you dig, the more twisted the story becomes. So buckle up. We're about to plunge deep into a drama that's rattling the rap world to its core, and it might just redefine how we view one of hip-hop's biggest stars. Not too long ago, Drake wrapped up a globe-trotting tour. He also dropped an album that fans expected to renew his throne atop the rap charts. Yet, to the surprise of many, those achievements drowned under a tidal wave of lawsuits. Suddenly, late-night conversations weren't about setlist highlights or creative breakthroughs. They were about legal filings and behind-the-scenes deals. Somehow, the music got buried beneath complicated accusations. What caused this shift? One track in particular, Not Like Us. This monster hit, released by another powerhouse artist, soared in ways that rattled Drake. Or at least, that's what he wants everyone to believe. He claims something fishy happened, some kind of industry meddling that catapulted Not Like Us past anything he was releasing. Before long, he was filing petitions, pointing fingers, and naming names. Radio networks, streaming platforms, maybe even label execs. Suddenly, Drake looked less like a carefree chart topper and more like a relentless detective, determined to uncover who, if anyone, tampered with his rightful spot on the throne. But here's the million-dollar question. Is this quest about genuine justice or a bruised ego? Fans are torn. Some admire his nerve, certain he's blowing the lid off hidden tactics that inflate certain hits. Others find it ironic, wondering if Drake benefited from those very tactics when he dominated the airwaves. Either way, the rap community can't stop buzzing about one thing. Why is Drake going all in on this battle? And does he really stand a chance of exposing wrongdoing? Now, if you've been following Drake's sagas, you heard about a rumored settlement with iHeartMedia. When early reports surfaced, excitement went through the roof. Social media erupted with claims that Drake had scored a colossal victory. Supporters boasted that iHeartMedia had buckled. Whispered rumors suggested a fat payout validated Drake's stance. The sense of triumph was electric. They paid him off, so he must be right, fans declared. But was that really the truth? In a twist nobody expected, multiple news outlets began poking around. They discovered that iHeartMedia didn't exactly cave. Instead, they complied with Drake's petition, handed over the data he requested, and apparently found nothing to confirm any foul play. Once Drake looked at that data, he walked away without further demands or payouts. No hush money, no hush-hush settlement, just an anticlimactic conclusion to a short-lived dispute. Even Charlemagne's circle, while obviously protective of iHeart, said the situation was straightforward. iHeart had nothing to hide, so they coughed up the info. End of story. But that means all those epic posts and victory laps about Drake's win quickly deflated. Instead, fans started asking new questions. Did Drake hype up a trivial legal matter to save face after losing traction against Not Like Us? Or is there something deeper he's still not sharing? Regardless, the immediate takeaway was glaring. If Drake can't prove any wrongdoing on iHeart's end, then his broader allegations about rigged industry success start to look shakier, and that's a big problem for someone who's staking his reputation on being a whistleblower. But iHeart is just a piece of this puzzle. The more colossal showdown is between Drake and the label that once powered his sky-high climb. He's filed more than one petition. He's hinted that major label executives turned a blind eye while Not Like Us overshadowed his releases. For a superstar once hailed as unstoppable, this shift feels dramatic. Plenty of artists have locked horns with labels over contract disputes and royalty issues. Drake, however, isn't talking about a missing check. He's alleging sabotage, or at the very least, negligence in letting another artist leapfrog him with suspicious promotion. If you've ever wondered how streaming giants or radio stations decide which track to blast on repeat, Drake's claims might intrigue you, but they also raise uncomfortable questions. Did Drake's label truly undermine him? Or is this entire fiasco a smokescreen? In an industry built on relationships, turning on your label is risky. For Drake, it might be the final straw to retain an image of dominance, especially if he believes they let Not Like Us overshadow his music without a fight. To his die-hard supporters, he's bravely waging war against corruption. To skeptics, he's orchestrating an elaborate conspiracy theory to distract from his own fading star. Wherever you stand, one fact is clear: he's not backing down. Critics, commentators, and journalists are all weighing in. Charlemagne's remarks fueled one angle, but he's hardly alone. Industry insiders from various platforms have chimed in, often with one consensus: they can't find tangible proof backing Drake's claims. Spotify, Apple Music, and other digital platforms haven't rushed to confirm any chart manipulation for Not Like Us. Meanwhile, that track's climb looks largely standard, albeit extremely successful. If these companies had a massive scandal to cover up, wouldn't there be at least a hint of friction or denial? Instead, the response is typically something like, "We promote hits that resonate. Not Like Us happens to resonate a lot." So does that leave Drake's argument in freefall? Possibly. Adding to the skepticism, more people recall how unstoppable Drake's hits used to be. His songs would materialize everywhere: radio, curated playlists, clubs, commercials, social feeds, sometimes overshadowing more lyrically powerful records. Was that purely organic? Or was it a polished machine that elevated Drake's brand? If the latter is true, does that make Drake a hypocrite? You can almost feel the tension. On one hand, Drake blasts the system for propping up someone else. On the other, the same system once gave him chart domination. That contradiction looms larger every day. If he continues pushing, he might inadvertently expose the mechanics that once worked in his favor, painting himself as the beneficiary of the very practices he's publicly condemning. Imagine for a moment the ripple effect if Drake's old promotion strategies were laid bare. Remember how unstoppable One Dance or God's Plan felt when they first emerged? What if those unstoppable runs weren't entirely organic? Music lovers can handle learning about typical marketing campaigns, but finding out an idol might have artificially boosted his brand strikes a nerve. Betrayal, hypocrisy. Fans don't forget those things easily. This is the precarious position Drake is in. If he proves Not Like Us was rigged, does that overshadow the possibility that his hits were similarly nurtured? And if he can't prove it, he looks like a sore loser who can't accept that someone else created a bigger wave. Either scenario can chip away at the foundation of his legacy. And for a rap icon whose entire identity is tied to groundbreaking success, that's a dangerous line to walk. All these lawsuits devour not just money, but also time and attention. Instead of fueling hype around fresh releases, Drake floods social media with updates on his petitions and legal battles. If the final takeaway is nothing to see here, he risks alienating fans altogether. Meanwhile, artists like Kendrick Lamar keep dropping music that resonates, cultivating praise without any noticeable fiasco. As Drake fights his label and tangles with media outlets, others push forward. This might be the exact moment where the audience says, "We're done waiting, let's listen to someone else." So why does Drake's battle matter to anyone who isn't a hardcore fan? Because Drake is huge. For years, his name was synonymous with unstoppable hits, streaming records, and top-tier collaborations. If he insists the industry is rigged, people listen. Yet if the general consensus is that he's crying wolf, it impacts how we view every major success story in hip-hop. Could other songs by other artists also be climbing the charts thanks to subtle manipulations? Are certain labels deliberately boosting their favorites? If so, does it undercut the authenticity fans crave? Drake's fight might uncover shady tactics, if in fact they exist, but it could also spawn mass cynicism about every viral track. Listeners may start questioning, is this song a genuine smash or just another product of orchestrated hype? That's a slippery slope, and it hits right at hip-hop's core value, keeping it real. Moreover, if Drake's standoff brings forth new revelations, it might compel oversight bodies, streaming platforms, and even record labels to address these concerns openly. Or, if Drake crashes and burns, the industry might tighten ranks to protect its secrets. Either outcome could reshape rap's trajectory in ways no one expects. You have to wonder, is Drake on the verge of becoming a hero who shatters illusions? Or is he simply pulling everyone into his own meltdown? Don't think for a second that Drake's done. Reports say he's adding pages to existing lawsuits, filing new claims, and hinting that the bombshell evidence is still out there. He teases shocking discoveries that could make the iHeart dust-up seem trivial. But how many times can you cry, "I've got something huge," before fans lose patience? Perhaps you feel that Drake is days or weeks away from unleashing proof that flips the rap rap world upside down. Maybe you believe he's using the system as a scapegoat for losing a heated chart battle. Both sides keep presenting new angles, and neither is backing down. Every day, headlines swirl, Drake files new motion, label responds with firm denial. Sources say Drake had no evidence in the first place. It's like a ping-pong match with no referee. Here's the kicker. If Drake unearths legitimate documentation of manipulated streaming numbers for Not Like Us, he might spark a tsunami that exposes who's really controlling the charts. But if he continues to strike out, like he did with iHeart, he looks desperate, reinforcing the idea he's just venting frustration instead of accepting a fair defeat. Either way, the tension builds. Are we witnessing the demise of a legend or a final stand that could unravel everything we thought we knew about the industry? Now that you've glimpsed this saga, what do you think is truly going on behind the scenes? Are you convinced that Drake, once championed as a rap visionary, is onto something monumental? Or do you suspect he's tangled in conspiracies, hoping to salvage his pride after a crushing blow? How far would you go to defend a legacy if you thought the public doubted your dominance? That's the puzzle Drake confronts. Push forward and risk unleashing secrets that might also stain his own glory days, or retreat and appear weak. As you watch him pour energy into lawsuits, while other artists keep climbing the charts, where do your loyalties lie? After all, if these manipulations exist, exposing them could benefit everyone yearning for a level playing field. But if they don't exist, Drake might be rewriting the most embarrassing chapter of his career and tarnishing his legacy forever. We're at a crossroads in hip-hop, where myth meets reality. Drake's next move could either cement his legend or dismantle it. Where he stands, hero or cautionary tale, may hinge on whether he can provide hard evidence. So stay tuned, the tension won't fade anytime soon. Because for all the claims and counterclaims, one truth remains: the rap world is watching his every maneuver, and the final verdict might alter the shape of modern music in ways we never saw coming. Are you ready to witness history or watch a champion fall?